my capstone project was with McLeod Health, which was an healthcare organization in Manning, South Carolina. And we helped improve the customer experience there and helped them serve more of their elderly clientele, more per day, so they could help people get better sooner. And during the interview process, being able to talk about the capstone project that you worked on is always extremely interesting to the interviewer. They always have lots of questions about it. And like Dr. Hira was saying, that real world experience that's what they're most interested in. And it makes you more comfortable in a lot of different situations after you've been on the floor and speaking with actual people who are working jobs. And almost every one of these projects, you end up presenting to higher up management level, sometimes C-suite people at these companies on your findings. And that's an opportunity that you won't see in many other majors. So that's another differentiating point about the capstone program.
I did my capstone project with Textron EasyGo, and we ended up actually relocating one of their manufacturing sites a few miles down the road, and we created jobs for underprivileged youth in the area. So that was a really rewarding project, actually, that I did not expect to be that rewarding past helping me with my interviews.
I did a capstone project with Siemens. We did on their return material authorization process. We actually went to their distribution center in South Haven, Mississippi, and learned all about their process, got to map things out. It was a really good experience as far as business travel and interacting with the customer directly.
One of the cool things about the capstone course is that, upon successful completion, of course, you can obtain your Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. And I was able to do that. And I found that to be very, very valuable in, driving solutions. I've been chosen for several different opportunities to actually, lead engagements and lead, agile frameworks just because of my Lean Six Sigma Green Belt opportunity or certification. I know Ernst & Young, they offer the yellow belt, which is actually which is lower than the green belt certification. And so as a result, I actually came in at a higher standing, from a training and an educational standpoint than many of the managers and senior managers at the time. And so that was really important and really interesting to see, because now that I am pursuing additional management opportunities, the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt is actually one of the top certifications that they require or that they request, those seeking management positions have. And so for me to have come in, to my full-time position with the certification was definitely a valuable opportunity and a beneficial component, not only to myself, but also to the firm.
In part of my interview process with SpaceX, the technical portion of it is to do a 45-minute presentation on a project that you've worked on in the past, emphasizing the skills that this major does. And I actually used my group's final presentation from our capstone project and took portions of that and used that experience as my talking point with SpaceX. And, I would definitely say without being a part of that capstone project and, having that opportunity to learn those skills, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today.
I feel like having the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, puts you above others and applying for your first job. It gets you kind of in the door. And then you have the ability to sell yourself and some of the more applicable tools like value stream mapping, waste identification, et cetera, in your interviews.
Yeah, I think the big piece there is not only just learning the tools and techniques, but how to apply them in the right scenarios and having that experience through the program and obviously through Capstone. If you go through that a project within the Capstone process. And so I think that's definitely helped. And then I think to be able to use that in interviews as kind of your experience through that was huge. Just my first interview with Dell, I mean, that was something they called out. They're like, you have your green belt already? And, it was just something unheard of. And so it's really something to key in on, when you're talking with prospective companies.
And what I'll say is, it really was a matter of looking for opportunities to distinguish myself and to set myself apart from some of the other either peers at the business school that were applying for jobs or just candidates in the job market overall. And that came in the form of a double major, having a major in addition to operations and supply chain, Having a relevant major in the first place, operations and supply chain is the major that got me my job, despite my also having the international business curriculum. And then really pursuing and reaching for the Capstone project. It was, very clear that was going to be more work. It was going to be a tough way to spend, my senior year. I wasn't going to be able to coast or take it easy. But it gave me an experience that very few people had. And right away, when I joined Bank of America with my first role, my hiring manager was working to get her green belt, and I was coming into the company with my green belt. So just to have that experience and be able to speak to it, and going out of my way to make sure I was setting myself up to have that experience definitely was a distinguishing factor.